back, and when she came back, she found she had Kim calling someone and saying what had happened, and she was saying, if I wanted to throw fruits at her, I would have thrown fruits at her. She's so mean. Like, why would we throw fruits at a pregnant woman? Or at another woman for that matter? Like this lady, yo, hi. No, she doesn't deserve their apology. They must hold her accountable and make her cry if they want to, because she's being super mean. Hi. And I think Christina is a lazy person who refuses to acknowledge her mistake, because even when she tries and acknowledge them, that came from the right place. Because remember, in maybe previous 2 episodes when they were doing the cafe opening, they tried to explain the reason for the meeting, and they told her that Kim was the only one willing to talk to Christina around this issue of what happened, and she was the one willing to address her. Everyone else was not interested in having a conversation with her. Kim took it upon herself to say, let me go and try and find out what is going on with this person that I've just met. And no, Christina doesn't cry. And maybe because this is for TV, also Kathleen does not ask a lot of questions. She doesn't want to know, friend, what happened before they called you a racist? What did you say? Friend, what happened in terms of when you got there? She just asked, why were you going back? Which is a valid question. And then she started explaining that before she got there, she went to get coffee, and she doesn't know if she left it at the coffee shop or there where they were sitting. That she has sinuses and she can't judge that because, hi guys, no ways. They really got a good mommy in this club. She has us watching and wondering if she's okay. At one point, we are trying to understand, oh, we get where you are coming from. Oh, now we're shocked again. We're going, you don't deserve Leno's kindness. Maybe she should even pull out a doctor's recommendation because you're not a good person. And then we move to the twins that are designing and sewing for their Made You Look SA brand. And they talk about Kim's suggestion for them to start hiring their clothes instead of selling them to the customers. And they are just talking and reflecting on the events that they have had. And Rach throws a shade at Leno by telling Losh that she is glad that on the previous event, or in this episode, Rex throws a shade at Leno by telling Losh that she's glad that she let the ladies get to know her personality before they could know her struggles and not tell strangers her struggles, which is what Leno did. And Losh also agrees that she doesn't like leading with her struggle. So this is part of them just saying that, saying the fact that they think that Leno overshares. And they talk about how the Vina's strength, they're admiring it and noticing, saying that they contacted Devina to say if she's okay. And Losh also said that she also got the messages from everyone except for Leno's message. And they say that the first time they heard about Leno's medical issue, they contacted her to find out if she's okay, to show her support and sending messages around her strength. And Resh is really going at Leno about how she likes hearing her own voice. She said that the other women in the group have not gotten a chance to speak because Leno likes attention for her condition. And I'm just like, they are really mean people, these people. They try to play nice all the time when people are talking, but yeah, they are mean. They start talking about how Leno invited Maria at her son's birthday and how Maria assumed that they were all housewives. And then she's actually glad that Lodge explained to her that they are not all housewives. So that assumption is wrong, and it got cleared very quickly. And I still feel or think that this thing of them being occupational therapists does not have anything to do with the mental conditions, because not everyone who has a mental condition also has a physical ability, difficulties or physical challenges, because they are saying that no one gets discharged from a psychiatric hospital and not get to see an occupational therapist. And as much as I've never been to a psychiatric hospital, but I don't believe that. This is just something else. Why would they be sending you to see an occupational therapist if you are getting discharged from having your mental health related issues? These ladies are so wrong. They're so much into themselves that they don't think outside of the box. Sometimes it's quite irritating when they say these things that are not making sense for people who went to school. Hey? And I think that they need to think outside of their issues. Just because her daughter has physical difficult challenges, and also had mental health, does not mean everyone is like that. You could have physical challenges and you do not have mental health issues. You could just need a psychologist for having one, because life needs helpers in this life, and you can't be trauma dumping on everyone when you have issues. You need to talk to someone who actually went to school for that type of problem. So these ladies in J, they are always just thinking life revolves around how their life is going. And the fact that they like referring to people, actually this is right thing. She was talking about victimhood and how people who have experienced stuff need to move from victims to victors. That meant that she was standing in his way of realizing his dreams and being a doctor in a way, because like as much as he could work in Durban, maybe there, because of the specialty that he was going to be observing, was not in the other side. So she didn't like that. She just didn't say, no, don't go. And because of that, he wasn't aware of what was happening with Christina's life and the baby's life that much. And we go back to the lady's social media campaign. Ashriya says that she has organized a game for them, and when she says the game, they they're just not looking forward to it because of what had happened previously with the other game where Kim got told that she's by Christina that she doesn't like her. And this game, as much as it's a game, is for the ladies to share their experience with motherhood. And there's questions or like this, or the question is like, what is the thing that they struggled with in motherhood, and how did they overcome it? And if they were presented with the same issue, how will they resolve it or handle it now? And Abigail says that she can see that this will be an emotional game, because I think she has a background of what the ladies have gone through, or maybe even her own journey has been difficult. I don't know, and she knows it's an emotional thing. And Ashriya says her struggle was when her son caught a cough 2 weeks before the shooting. She overcame it by going to the doctor and believing in the medicine, and that's what had helped her. And with the same issue now, she wouldn't have overreacted, and because overreacting causes one to lose control of the situation. And then we go to Lenore. Lenore shares her experience or her struggle with her fibromyalgia, and that while she was pregnant, she was taking medicine for it, and the gynecologist asked if she wanted to terminate with her last born, and she refused and went and got her last-born daughter. And as she's explaining all of this, you can see that the lady seems interested, but they are not emotional yet. I think it's because they've heard this story. And Losh and Ashria are tired of hearing about Leno's condition. And with Ashria saying that she understands that maybe Leno's situation was traumatic for her. That's why she kept hearing more about it. And I'm like, why are you? This is a game that you said you designed for them. What type of struggle should she be saying? She can't say all the time that maybe she was pregnant or when the kids had to choose a school and stuff like that. So that was her main one, or maybe the biggest one. And that's part of what the game that you designed us for. So when she's sharing this, why are you judging her based on we've had this before? Maybe in the gaming explanation should have said something that we have never had before instead of just judging people for saying things more than once. I don't understand this obsession of them judging Lino's answer. And they were pretending to be interested in her story, in her face, and then they go to these diary sessions and say mean things, both her and Losh. And this is why the reason calls them as kisses, and she said Ashria is actually fake. So this is not that was not far from the truth, because that's what they do. They gossip, they do all of these things. And I think this is why Christina prefers Leno, because Leno will tell her to her face that she's wrong, or maybe what you are doing is not wrong. I mean, it's not right. And Abigail's in a condition that she experienced while she was pregnant with her second born, and a condition which she experienced while she was pregnant with her second born, which is a hyperemesis gravidarum, which is where she was extremely nervous and couldn't sleep, and her daughter who was 2 at the time, comforted her. She woke up in the middle of the night while it was dark and went to her mom and told her that she mom, everything will be okay, be strong. And I know most people do not believe this statement because they think, oh, 2-year-olds can't form sentences, but this is wrong. Some 2-year-olds can actually form full sentences because kids develop in different paces. Some kids are walking and running and talking at one, and I mean mumbling most words, but Nene too, they are able to full form sentences and stuff like that. So this thing of one of the twins saying that that's not true, or that saying that statement, that sounds like she's doubting her, sounds like she's just not acknowledging that this lady was going through a lot. As much as we thinking that it's nausea, when I read up on it, it's not just nausea. You could lose weight in the first trimester. You could just be going through a lot because your body and whatever that's happening in the fetus developing is causing that issue in your body. Your hormones are not balancing it, or they are not used to this, and it also causes you to have a sleepless night. So for them to say that her 2-year-old couldn't be the one that was comforting her is so wrong. But anyway, when she explained her situation, she didn't consider the part of how she would handle it now and how she overcame it. And yeah, or that maybe she said that she just believed in God, and also told her daughter that because she has that strength, she will draw from the daughter's strength. And the only question that she makes is how she would handle it now. And then we go to Davina, who talks about how long her prenatal journey is, and how Lunica was her 8th baby. That was her first baby. After losing all the other 7 kids that she had before, while she was trying to fall pregnant and have the giving birth of the baby that gets to live. So Lunica was number 8, but the first baby to be alive. And when Lonika was born prematurely, and she had a specific type of milk that the doctor had prescribed for her. And Devina was struggling to birth her baby. And while she's explaining all of this, she was crying, and Kim looked uncomfortable and looked at her baby bump and rubbed it a little bit. And she is explaining that at one point, while she was struggling with feeding the babying her and all of that, she took Lonika and with her husband to the hospital because her child was turning blue, and she was not reacting to anything that they were doing at home, and she had to be resuscitated at the hospital. And one thing that helped her, or how she overcame it, was because she trusted the pediatrician, and they all told her that she is strong, and they wouldn't have known this about her because she doesn't talk too much about it. And then she explains that she wouldn't have done anything differently. And she explains in her diary session that she loves and appreciates her kids, and they're everything to her because of how she was blessed with them and how they got to be here. And everyone is crying, guys. Everyone is holding tissues because this is so hard. Imagine falling pregnant 7 times and you just keep losing the babies. I'm sure this did a number on her emotional well-being, because also when you are falling pregnant, sometimes it shows and you are going to the public, and then now you get there and then people start asking you questions when they see that the baby is not there and you do not have a baby. Some insensitive people could ask what is wrong, what happened and stuff like that, and now it's just become so tough. It's just not nice. But Davina has handled it so well. And when it was Losh's turn, she was already crying so badly, like crying real tears, and saying she can't do her turn. And her twin sister Losh, Rash, says that she has too many problems, and chips in and says she admires the lady's strength and how they have raised their kids, and it shows how those kids are in terms of their behaviors. And because the kids are kind and beautiful, she admired Davina's quiet strength. So she didn't show the ladies that these prenatal struggles, they are not a comfortable conversation to have while she's pregnant. And now I'm speculating because she never said those things, but I feel, or I think when I was watching her, I think that she was comfortable. She was uncomfortable throughout the conversations, but I don't know if that's true. I'm just like thinking that she's pregnant, and this is the topic that actually I thought it's best for them to have. I mean, they could have shared the joy of having kids and, make her look forward to something happier. I don't think pregnant people want to hear about how people lost their babies, how you were pregnant so many times and lost babies and stuff like that, and how, as much as, I don't know, she looks like she has passed the first trimester where she could have that condition that Ashria was explaining. But, it's not nice to hear this. And they have skipped Losh by now, and they are moving to Rash. And, it's bothered by the fact that Rash is wanting Losh to be skipped over because she believes that Losh could have handled it on her own. She can explain what her issues are and stuff like that. But I think with twins, they live lives, especially if they're close to one another, they live life like one person. And when one of them goes through stuff, they think they are going through it as well. When one of them is happy, they are both happy. So those type of things happens when one is a twin. And it seems like even though these ones are old, they still have that type of behavior. And so Rash gets the behavior, the turn, and she says that it's fine, she will go because their story ties in together. And she explains that she was pregnant when she was pregnant with Mia, her first child. And when Mia was 3, she got pregnant again for the second time with her husband. And she felt like she couldn't explain this to her twin sister. She couldn't tell her. She had to keep it a secret because her twin sister had already lost 2 pregnancies through miscarriage. So this would look like she was rubbing it in her face because she was not struggling with falling pregnant. And she seems like she didn't have any real struggle in motherhood, or was not able to explain a struggle maybe in the sisterhood, or being the one that's successful in the area that her sister was not successful in at that time. It made it difficult for her to like support her sister who was struggling in the area that she was successful in. And yeah, so that's her. And then Kim also goes on to her diary session, and she says that Resh is struggling to see her struggles in motherhood because she's a twin. And because of that, she's not able to see her own issues. She's always going to see her twin sister struggles as her own because she's comparing the two. And then she thinks maybe her sister has experienced more struggle, but she might have had maybe also because their kids are older. So the struggles that they have, these don't sound like a struggle. I mean, like if you have a teenager that's able to that's behavioral, does not cause issues in the home, you can't really have much struggle recently, you know, like those type of things. And then anyway, and when Lodge finally gets a chance to speak, she starts explaining that she was first pregnant with the quads, and she miscarried one baby. And at 28 weeks, the blood that was going to Daika stopped flowing. And she asked if the gynae asked her if she could do she can let Daika go. And she said that because the agreement was that she was going to give birth to the kids at 28 weeks for the babies. So she opted that she gives birth. And when the babies came out, Daika's position was not normal. She had her legs on her shoulders and stuff like that. And she gave birth to 3 babies. And one of them, triplets, had to be resuscitated when she was born. And also Daika had to, like, as they were growing. So they are crying, all of this. And I get it. This is very sad situation happening. But you know, these ladies are camera ready. You know, when they are crying, their makeup doesn't come off. Maybe their makeup is waterproof, but yeah, or they know how to cry. Because even with Losh, she was crying like real crying. You could see that she was, yeah, this thing was taking her back. And so you see how not talking about your issues could make you cry in front of people. And I'm not saying they are wrong for crying, but they were judging Lenore for sharing her stories over and over. So when you get to talk about stuff, then you start explaining stuff that happened 17 years ago without crying, because they are crying now because they have not really addressed their stuff earlier in life, or whoever they talk to, because they can't be victims forever and stuff like that. That's what we do to a lot of people when they are going through issues. Instead of agreeing that the issue is tough and they need to be talking about it to heal, we tell them that they need to stop talking about it. I was so, like, I'm feeling like these ladies, somehow, somewhere, they are wrong for saying that she should stop talking about her issues. Anyway, I was saying that the reason why she's crying so badly is because when she had Davina's issue. She was taken back to her own issues, and then she started crying because it's an emotional thing. But the way she's crying is because she might have addressed it. I'm saying, but maybe she has not, because I mean, this happened 17 years ago. It still affects her now because her daughter got depressed after she had done, after she was growing up, and she noticed that she is differently abled, and she started getting depressed, and they had to take her out of the school that she was in and be homeschooled and stuff like that. And she says 3 years after the babies were born, her husband got diagnosed with colon cancer. That's another thing. As much as that's not motherhood, it's motherhood because it's affecting the person that she was supposed to go through this journey with, which is her husband, while he was diagnosed and going through whatever he had to go through to get better. It means that he was not there for the kids as a healthy father, if I can put it like that, because maybe he was definitely there in the house from what we are hearing. But also, when the kids were born, 2 weeks after, she had to go back to work because now I'm just saying things the way they were going. They were not chronologically, but just saying them. When the babies were born, she had to go to back to work because this whole process of fertility and infertility was expensive for the family. So all of that is just going on one person. I really hope she got help with this because it's tough. Sounds heavy. Anyway, we when we, you know how Resh is really believing that their stories ties in together. And I get where she was coming from with this, but when she spoke about how her husband got colon cancer, she said that she told Pravin's mom while they were waiting for the results that she wished that it was her going through this, which means that she wished it was her husband that had colon cancer instead of her sister's husband, because her sister has already gone through so much. She shouldn't be going through this. I get it because they're sisters. Like sometimes you just want to offload the burden from your loved ones to you because maybe you think you can handle it. And then so Losh brings a lighter note to it. She just says that she believes that she's God's strongest soldier, and they pray every year that God does not make her a stronger one for that year or for the following year, because guys, even the strongest soldiers need a break. And so Losh says that she has gone through a lot of struggles in her life, and she appreciates the strength that God gave her. And Christina is explaining what so we go back to Christina and her friend, and she is explaining what happened with Lenore and the ladies, and how Lenore thought that she was racist, and how they started on the wrong foot. And now she goes on and advises Caitlin to address her issues and set boundaries. And Caitlin says that she has set them, but they are not respected. And her husband don't care about them. And I think Christina realizes that maybe she is having an outburst and was building on the wrong people in terms of how these things were just happening, but she doesn't say it with her mouth. She says it differently, and she lies to her friend and tells her that she's the one that organized the meeting with Lenore. And I wonder how this will play out at the reunion if she gets to go, because she should be asked, why does she keep lying to the people that are not part of the club? She lied to her fake nanny. She lied to her grandma. Now she's lying to Kathleen in terms of what had happened. Like, this lady just lies and lies. I don't get it. And also now she's caught on 4K saying that she hated Lenore and she believes that Lenore also hated her. My thing is there's no need for her to lie unless she forgot this stuff that she's talking about. That unless if she has forgotten that these things that she's talking about were caught on camera and they will appear how they appear because this lady is just being weird. And I think that's what Kim was warning her about at the picnic, that she's going to see in the video that she's actually in the wrong, but because she does not do self introspection, she's not self aware of her actions, she just does as she pleases. Like this lady is moving weirdly. And then she starts explaining them about, because Caitlin asked about the other ladies. And she explains that she was invited by Asharia to go to Kim's baby shower, which she showed up at empty-handed, and apparently she was still trying to be nice to the ladies. I don't know, how are you nice and not bringing anything to a baby shower, even if it's like 250 gift card, something, just do something. You cannot go to a baby shower empty-handed. It just looks like you don't have manners or you do not know how to behave. She just moved weirdly. And Kathleen, Ashra and Christina are actually friends. So I'm shocked sometimes when she is in on the. I don't believe that they are friends. Because the way Ashria gossips about this lady, I don't know. She gossips to them about someone who's her friend. Christina told me that Ashria did not know these people. So she was shocked with her behavior in terms of when she was imitating her, she just say, my friend, don't do that. You don't treat old people like that and stuff like that. And I'm just like, maybe she was just trying to make it fun. And she felt that she was making fun of her. And she kept joking about how she's a racist in everything that she was saying. I don't know. Christina did not reflect on the conversation she had with Lino. Christina does not feel bad about the stuff she has done to Lino. And because she lies and she doesn't give details, she doesn't have anyone to tell her that you are actually in the wrong. Because the people who were there, and when they tell her she was in the wrong, she tells them where to get off, like she did with Kim. This lady is just something else. Now she's a liar, she's manipulative, she wants to change the truth to sound like she is good. I don't get where she gets the guts from, but yeah, she has everyone, especially in her side, eating at the palm of her hands. And she talks about the picnic that Kim had organized. And she tells her friend that Kim came to the picnic with the expectation that Christina will apologize. And she didn't do that. She is not going to do that. She will do it when she is ready. And I'm thinking, not last week, in the last episode, you apologized. So is it because you don't want to apologize to Kim and now you're missing the stuff for the reason for the apology? And she explains that Kim disrespected her, and Kim is so stupid for bringing dirty fruits to the picnic. Those dirty fruits, she ate them. And when she wanted to leave, she started throwing them around. And then she went back, and when she came back, she found she had Kim calling someone and saying what had happened. And she was saying that Kim said that she threw fruits at me. And she tells her friend, if I wanted to throw fruits at her, I would have thrown fruits at her. She's so mean. Like, why would we throw fruits at a pregnant woman? Or at another woman for that matter? Like this lady, hi. No, she doesn't deserve their apology. They must hold her accountable and make her cry if they want to, because she's being super mean. Hi. And I think Christina is a lazy person who refuses to acknowledge her mistake, because even when she tries and acknowledge them, that came from the right place. Because remember, in maybe previous 2 episodes, when they were doing the cafe opening, they tried to explain the reason for the meeting, and they told her that Kim was the only one willing to talk to Christina around this issue of what happened, and she was the one willing to address her. Everyone else was not interested in having a conversation with her. Kim took it upon herself to say, let me go and try and find out what is going on with this person that I've just met. And no, Christina doesn't care. And maybe because this is for TV, also Kathleen does not ask a lot of questions. She doesn't want to know, friend, what happened before they called you a racist? What did you say? Friend, what happened in terms of when you got there? She just asked, why were you going back? Which is a valid question. And then she started explaining that before she got there, she went to get coffee, and she doesn't know if she left it at the coffee shop or there where they were sitting. But anyway, hi. And then now she was even talking about how Kim does not want to be addressed as Kimeshni. What does that have to do with anything? And then Kim has a condition that she has sinuses, and she can't judge that because, hi guys, no ways. They really good at got a good mommy in this club. She has us watching and wondering if she's okay. At one point, we are trying to understand, oh, we get where you are coming from. Oh, now we're shocked again. We're going, you don't deserve Leno's kindness. Maybe she should even pull out her a doctor's recommendation because you're not a good person. And then we move to the twins that are designing and sewing for their Made You Look SA brand. And they talk about Kim's suggestion for them to start hiring their clothes instead of selling them to the customers. And they are just talking and reflecting on the events that they have had. And Rach throws a shade at Leno by telling Losh that she is glad that on the previous event, or in this episode, Rex throws a shade at Leno by telling Losh that she's glad that she let the ladies get to know her personality before they could know her struggles, and not tell strangers her struggles, which is what Leno did. And Losh also agrees that she doesn't like leading with her struggle. So this is part of them just saying that, still saying the fact that they think that Leno overshares. And they talk about how the Vina's strength, they're admiring it and noticing, saying that they contacted Devina to say if she's okay. And Losh also said that she also got the messages from everyone except for Leno's message. And they say that the first time they heard about Leno's medical issue, they contacted her to find out if she's okay, to show her support, and sending messages around her strength. And Resh is really going at Leno about how she likes hearing her own voice. She said that the other women in the group have not gotten a chance to speak because Leno likes attention for her condition. And I'm just like, they are really mean people, these people. They try to play nice all the time when people are talking, but yeah, they are mean. They start talking about how Leno invited Maria at her son's birthday, and how Maria assumed that they were all housewives. And then she's actually glad that Losh explained to her that they are not all housewives. So that assumption is wrong, and it got cleared very quickly. And I still feel or think that this thing of them being occupational therapists does not have anything to do with the mental conditions, because not everyone who has a mental condition also has a physical ability, difficulties or physical challenges, because they are saying that no one gets discharged from a psychiatric hospital and not get to see an occupational therapist. And as much as I've never been to a psychiatric hospital, but I don't believe that. There's just something else. And why would they be sending you to see an occupational therapist if you are getting discharged from having your mental health related issues? These ladies are so wrong. They're so much into themselves that they don't think outside of the box. Sometimes it's quite irritating when they say these things that are not making sense for people who went to school. Hey? And I think that they need to think outside of their issues. Just because her daughter has physical changes, difficult challenges, and also had mental health, does not mean everyone is like that. You could have physical challenges and you do not have mental health issues. You could just need a psychologist for having one, because life needs helpers in this life, and you can't be trauma dumping on everyone when you have issues. You need to talk to someone who actually went to school for that type of problem. So these ladies in J, they are always just thinking life revolves around how their life is going. And the fact that they like referring to people, actually this is right thing. She was talking about victimhood and how people who have experienced stuff need to move from victims to victors. And I'm just like, lady, you have not gone through life. You explained to yourself earlier that you have not struggled in the motherhood. Maybe do not look at it like that. And why does she feel the need to say these mean things? Because all the people that have had struggles, not everyone had to. It's the consequences of their action, or that they have chosen to be victims. I don't get it. I think this is why actually I was asking them how they overcome their issues and what will they do differently. And I feel like she's coming off as mean in this whole episode, because also when her sister maybe goes back at one point and reflect on what happened, does she tell her sister and her niece to get over their issues? And if they tell their stories, and start crying, does she go, oh, victim again? Or like maybe sometimes, one could be just reminded of their stuff while they are talking about something else. Does she go, oh, there we go, a victim again? Like, I'm trying to understand, why does she see the need to want people to move on so quickly? Who has the timeline? Who has to say that, oh, by this time you should have moved on from that issue and now have made peace with it? Do not make it your whole brand. Like, is not even making it her whole brand. She has a whole personality outside of her fibromyalgia. Like, I'm just trying to get, where is she coming from? Why is she so mean? Hi, but okay, they move and talk about their masterclass, what they have and what they need to organize for. And then Beatrice brings them the snacks after they've asked. And Losh talks about how she appreciates Beatrice. And she said, because she's serving her family well. And then they go to a diary session. She talks about how she is a good designer, a good cook, and a good OT, and a good mom. She's just boosting her confidence, and I like it for her. Lush seems like to be, I don't know if I can say the better twin, but yeah, she is. Yeah, and then they show us the stuff that will go in the next episode. They have the masterclass in Gateway, and Natasha and Lino showed up with a full face bet. Like they did say that they will not go to this bare face. And I get them showing up on TV without a makeup. Maybe it's not their part of their brand. So I understand them. And Lino and family, they are doing quad biking, and they also went to a shooting range. They seem to be having fun. I think this family is always looking happy. And they, I guess we'll find out a lot of what will happen in the next that had happened. It seems like the ladies get to talk, and their twins confront them or try and find out why they showed up to their event with full face beads. And the way Lino and Natasha try to defend themselves against this just sounds so wrong. They say that they wouldn't validate the twins by showing up barefaced. For me, I think there was no need for them to say it like that. They could have just said what she said in her diary session, saying that she doesn't want to show up to Gateway with her face undone. That makes sense. She doesn't have to say anything about validating the twins. They don't need their validations. These people are old. But anyway, this is how they chose to defend themselves. Thank you guys for watching this recap. Please comment and like this video and subscribe to Reality React. See you guys in the next recap.